Everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of the Auto Intel Project. I've ran out of fingers, and yet again we've got a very special profile that I'm really excited about for someone who I really admire in this industry. We are celebrating International Women's Day by talking about Mary Barra, who is the only female CEO of any of the major automakers. Let's zone in and focus on her profile. We're going to talk about her tenure under GM, and we're going to show some pictures, and that'll be that. All right, here we go. Mary is a Bachelor of Science with the focus in electrical engineering, and then she subsequently got her MBA. This is a very common automotive background. You've got both the technical understanding here and then the business understanding here. Her MBA was from Stanford, and her science degree was actually at a university that's basically was originally run by GM. So definitely some support by the automotive industry in Mary's career. She actually started at GM way back as an 18-year-old as a co-op, and actually her father worked in a GM plant. So she's basically a GM lifer, GM family person, and that probably really ingratiated her to GM once she was appointed as the CEO, which happened back in January 2014. She's now been the CEO for a little bit over 7 years in one of the most important eras of GM's history. In addition to working as a CEO, she also has multiple board directorships, including Disney. Let's zone in and focus on what she's done for GM over the last 7 years and her tenure in one of the most volatile and important and transition-heavy eras of the automotive industry. First off, up here, you're noticing the big, boring, all capital letters gone. GM changed its logo under Mary Barra. Not a big deal, but sort of speaks to the new era we're into with that's more mobility-focused rather than just thinking of things as a car company. One of the big things she's done is really streamline global operations of GM. So Holden's been closed down, parts of GM Europe have been shut down, plants have been reconfigured and things like that. And this is all in service of the transition the automotive industry is going through with autonomous vehicles becoming more prominent, new types of powertrain technology becoming more prominent, all these different type of ambiguities going forward about what mobility is going to look like in 2030, 2040, 2050. The savings here have led her to be able to make some really big investments. So we talked about autonomy. GM has a subsidiary called Cruise that they've made a really big investment in. And then also ride sharing. Everyone talks about Uber and Lyft as the dominant players. GM has a really big stake in Lyft. Further, as we talk about decarbonizing the world, and we've talked about this extensively, Mary's made some really big commitments with GM. GM is going to be done using fossil fuels to propel its vehicles by 2035, and it's committed to be net zero on carbon by 2040. And by 2025, they're planning on having 30 EVs out in markets around the world. Fundamentally, zoning right back into today, car companies, GM is still a car company, and car companies live and die by their product. And I want to talk about some of the major product decisions that have been made under her tenure. Let's zone in right here, and we'll put this right by the picture we've got of Mary Barra, and we'll go bang and bang. So what we've got here is Mary standing beside the new Corvette back in 2019. And you'll see here 8, this was the 8th generation of Corvette, so C8. And what you're seeing in here is, why do cars have these weird patterns? Well, this was before its launch, and they're trying to disguise it. So they were trying to hide and build up hype for the vehicle. So that's that funky pattern. And what you're seeing here was this was the first one that's the mid-engine Corvette. And what that means is the engine is now behind where the car sits. So the engine's back here rather than up in the front. Really allows, a lot of supercars are built like this, and allows the car to reach a new level of performance. Also, as we transition into these new powertrain technologies, there's a whole bunch of people like me that are just really big automotive enthusiasts and are going to take on sort of a romantic feel with respect to losing, the vroom sound of gasoline or diesel powered engines and things like the manual transmissions. Manual transmissions are down to like 2% of vehicle sales. And one of the things Mary's done with the release of the Cadillac CT5V Blackwing, as sort of a last hurrah, it has both a V8 with over 600 horsepower and a manual transmission. So enthusiasts like me are just saying hallelujah all over the place. And there is, right there, the new Cadillac CT5V Blackwing. Isn't it just bam, look at that. Now last thing is you're looking at Hummer in green, and you're like, Why is Hummer in green? Don't those things get 10 miles to the gallon? Aren't they just major gas guzzlers? They were, but as you may have seen in the Super Bowl, there's a new Hummer coming out as a sub-brand of GMC. And this is going to help act as a major catalyst into the new powertrain era for GM. And it's incredible the way they've carried forward this brand equity and have turned Hummer into a leader and a catalyst for the new era in GM powertrain. So, no carbon going through, no more 10 miles a gallon because your Hummer is now electric. Last but not least, we're just going to run through our sources. Here we go. Wikipedia, Road and Track, Car and Driver, GM itself. And on International Women's Day, just wanted to say thank you, Mary, for shepherding GM through a really tumultuous era. Wish you continued success in your tenure as CEO of GM. You're doing a great job. You've got so many achievements already. All the best in future success. And happy International Women's Day, and a quick thank you to my wife who helps me film all of these little videos, and hopefully you enjoy them. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you.